You've been there, haven't you? Endlessly trying to justify your choices, your time, your energy, explaining why you do what you do, hoping someone will understand, hoping someone will see your side, hoping they'll finally respect you. But the truth is, every explanation chips away at your authority. Every justification diminishes your presence. And every time you try to make someone see your reasoning, you teach them they have power over your emotions, over your decisions. People don't respect explanations. They respect boundaries. They respect conviction. They respect someone who doesn't bend, doesn't plead, doesn't feel the need to justify their existence, their decisions, or their values. The moment you stop explaining yourself, something subtle happens. People start seeing you differently. Your silence becomes louder than any argument. Your absence becomes heavier than any presence. They feel the weight of your choices without you having to speak a word. Most people live their lives trying to prove themselves, trying to show they're right, trying to make others see their side. But in that struggle, they lose themselves. They lose the quiet power that comes from simply existing with integrity. When you stop explaining yourself, you reclaim your time, your energy, your peace. You stop giving others the privilege of controlling your narrative, and that is magnetic. That draws people in quietly, inevitably. Think about every time someone has questioned you, doubted you, or tried to manipulate your emotions. The more you explain, the more you invite them in. The more you weaken your stance. And yet, it feels uncomfortable at first. The silence, the stillness, the refusal to justify yourself. It triggers a subtle anxiety, a fear that people will leave, but that fear is exactly what you need to master. Respect is never demanded. It is earned silently. It is earned when you live in accordance with your own values. And the moment you stop explaining, you start commanding respect automatically. You'll notice the shift. Conversations feel different. People who once tried to control you now pause before speaking. They sense a presence they can't manipulate, and that's your power showing. Every time you resist the urge to justify, you teach people that your decisions are yours. They see your strength. It's not about arrogance. It's about quiet confidence. It's about knowing your path doesn't require validation. Think about it. Those who speak through action, who live with conviction, who remain silent when provoked, they command influence. At first, people might misinterpret your silence as weakness, but their assumptions will crumble as your consistency continues. Every moment you resist the urge to justify, you strengthen your inner core. People notice that strength. Actions speak louder than words. When your actions are grounded, you don't need to explain. Respect comes naturally. Imagine living your life without the constant drain of explanations. Imagine the freedom of being understood by presence. The moment you stop explaining, people begin to notice. They start respecting your boundaries and valuing your time. This isn't about controlling others, it's about controlling yourself, being the person who doesn't need external validation. People who once doubted your decisions hesitate because they sense a firmness they cannot influence. By doing less, by explaining less, you create more authority. The world responds to presence, not pleas. Every time someone questions you, imagine yourself standing firm. Respect is earned silently. The moment you stop explaining yourself, the world begins to feel it. Slowly, subtly, inevitably, choose your words wisely, or choose silence. Every act of restraint strengthens your authority. Every moment of quiet builds your influence. This is the path of the silent leader. Power is measured not by words, but by integrity and unwavering action. Remember, the moment you stop explaining yourself, people start respecting you. That respect is the quiet power that carries you further. You've probably experienced it. The endless giving of your time, your energy, your presence. Always saying yes, always being there. Hoping people will notice, hoping they'll value you, hoping they'll finally invest back. But here's the truth. When you're always available, people take it for granted. They stop valuing your presence. They forget your worth. And they rarely chase, rarely pursue, rarely fight to earn your time. Because it's always there. Easy, predictable, guaranteed. Availability is a silent currency. And when it's abundant, it loses value. People naturally stop chasing what is always offered. They stop showing effort. They stop feeling the need. And they drift into complacency. The moment you step back, the moment you stop always saying yes, the moment you stop being instantly available, something shifts. People notice absence. They feel the weight of your unavailability, your silence, your distance, your boundaries. Suddenly, they realize you are not theirs to claim freely. Suddenly, they must act, they must chase. This is the power of absence. The quiet force that draws attention without effort. It is not manipulation, it is nature. People respect scarcity. They value what is not always given. Think about the last time someone truly pursued you. The effort they put in, the energy they invested, the persistence they showed. Didn't that feel different? Didn't that feel meaningful? That feeling comes from absence, from space, from the fact that you are not always there. When you are constantly available, you teach people that they can take without giving. You teach them that effort is optional. You teach them that your presence is theirs to claim freely, and they stop chasing. But when you step back, when you create space, when you make yourself selectively available, people suddenly see what they were taking for granted. They feel the pull. They feel the need to invest, to act, to earn. It's not about games. It's about energy, about boundaries. It's about understanding that your time, your attention, your presence are valuable. And once you treat them that way, others instinctively follow suit. You'll notice it in relationships. Friends, family, partners, colleagues. When you step back, they pause, they notice, they chase, quietly, subtly, inevitably. The first moments of absence can feel uncomfortable. You might feel guilty, anxious, you might worry that people will leave. But that discomfort is temporary. It's the shift, the recalibration. The moment your true value is recognized, when you are always available, people lose interest without realizing it. Their attention fades because nothing requires effort. Nothing challenges them, nothing demands investment, and investment is what creates connection, what creates desire, what creates pursuit. The moment you stop being available, you create space for desire to grow. You create tension, you create curiosity. People begin to wonder where you are, what you are doing, why you are not immediately reachable. And that is magnetic. This principle applies to all areas of life. Personal, professional, romantic. When you are selective, deliberate, intentional, people start noticing. They start valuing you. They start chasing not because you force them, but because they are drawn to your presence. Think about it. Scarcity is powerful. Effort is attractive. When something must be earned, it becomes precious. When your attention is rare, it becomes highly valued. And people respond always to value, always to presence. That is not guaranteed. You might feel the urge to always answer texts, always accept invitations, always say yes, but pause, breathe, ask yourself, does my energy require protection? Is my presence sacred? If yes, then step back, create space. Allow absence to work its subtle influence. The moment you stop being available, you reclaim your power, your time, your energy, your life. You stop giving what is precious without demand, and in doing so, you teach others how to value it. People will start noticing patterns, how you respond selectively, how your presence is intentional, how your energy is not infinite. They will begin to chase, not to manipulate, not to control, but because they feel the pull, the natural draw of someone who is not always there. This is not arrogance. This is self-respect. This is understanding that your life, your time, your attention are not disposable. They are currency. And once you treat them that way, the world treats you differently. Imagine a life where people chase your attention, where your presence is valued, not taken, where connections are deeper. That life begins the moment you stop being constantly available. Every time you resist the urge to immediately say yes, every time you pause before offering your time, you strengthen your influence, you strengthen your presence, you strengthen the magnetic pull. Absence is not emptiness, it is power, it is space, it is a force that communicates more than words ever could. Your absence teaches others to invest. Your unavailability teaches them respect. Your selective attention teaches them value. And yes, some people will test you. Some will push, plead, try to demand your presence. That is natural. Stay firm, remain consistent, and watch as they adjust, chase, and invest. You'll notice subtle shifts. The conversations change. People who once assumed your availability now show effort, persistence, and curiosity. People who once took you for granted now chase. It is not about control, it is about energy. It is about self-respect. It is about teaching others that your presence is earned. Think of absence as a mirror. It reflects your value. It amplifies your presence. It reveals who is truly willing to chase. So start today. Step back, pause, create space, be selective. Watch as people begin to notice, begin to value, begin to chase. The moment you stop being available, they start chasing. Scarcity creates value. Effort creates attraction. Boundaries create respect. Remember, the moment you stop being available, they start chasing you. It is quiet, subtle, inevitable. Reclaim your energy, your time, your presence. You've probably felt it, that constant weight of others' opinions. The need to justify, explain, and perform. The pressure to fit in, to be liked, to avoid judgment. It's exhausting. It drains your energy, your confidence, and your presence. But here's the truth. The moment you stop caring what people think, the moment you stop seeking approval, you step into power. It is a power that is rare, magnetic, and undeniable. Most people live their lives reacting to criticism, gossip, and expectations. They react to imagined judgments, and in that reaction, they lose themselves. They lose control of their energy, focus, and freedom. When you stop caring, you stop reacting. You stop giving others the privilege of controlling your emotions. That shift becomes transformative. It becomes unstoppable and dangerous. Dangerous, not in a violent sense, but in the sense of influence and respect. People feel compelled to notice you, compelled to respect your choices, and compelled to acknowledge your presence. Think about the people you admire, the ones who seem untouchable. They are not controlled by the opinions of others. They are free. Their energy is their own, and that freedom is magnetic. When you seek approval, you give others power over your life and emotions. Every opinion you value is a chain you place on yourself. The weight of those chains is heavy. But the moment you stop caring, you break those chains. You reclaim your energy, your focus, and your life. You no longer live to please or perform. You live for yourself authentically and unapologetically. This doesn't mean arrogance or selfishness. It means discipline and mastery of self. Only a few opinions truly matter. Only your own should guide your actions. You'll notice subtle shifts immediately, like freedom in your decisions and clarity in your purpose. People may resist or test you, but those tests only confirm your strength. You become unpredictable and unshakable. You are no longer swayed by praise or criticism. You act deliberately, with intention, and people respond to that power. They respect it, they feel it, they are drawn to it. Every moment you stop worrying about judgment, you expand your influence. You increase your energy. You stop draining yourself on meaningless opinions. That freedom is contagious, and people notice it. You'll realize how much of your past behavior was dictated by others, and how many decisions were influenced by fear of judgment. The realization itself is liberating. Stop imagining how people see you or how they will react. It is a trap. The moment you step out of that trap, you become dangerous. Dangerous in presence, in focus, and in action. Your life gains weight, your choices gain clarity, and your path becomes unshakable. People feel it, and they cannot shake it. This is about aligning your actions with your values, your goals, and your purpose. Let the opinions of others be irrelevant. Imagine the freedom and the power that comes from living unshackled by judgment, the space to act, create, and pursue. Every time you feel the urge to explain yourself, pause, breathe. Ask yourself if this serves you or someone else's opinion. The world will try to test you with criticism and gossip, but your indifference neutralizes their power silently and permanently. You become dangerous because your energy is intact and your focus is unshakable. Influence follows naturally and inevitably. Think of history's great leaders and thinkers. They were dangerous because they acted according to their own vision. They ignored the opinions of the ungrounded. When you stop caring, you stop reacting to distraction and gossip. Every time someone doubts you or questions your choices, it no longer matters. Your consistency speaks louder than any opinion. This is the path of self-mastery and power. It begins with one step, deciding that others' opinions will no longer control you. You will feel resistance, but that is the test. The moment you persist, your dangerous power grows quietly and steadily. People will notice. Some will admire, some will envy, but none can control your energy, and your focus are yours. So start today. Stop worrying and stop explaining. Embrace your energy and notice how the world responds. The moment you stop caring what people think, you become unstoppable, magnetic, and finally, you live on your own terms. Consider those who choose to subscribe and commit to consistent learning. They improve their lives dramatically. Engaging with content that teaches self-mastery conditions your mind to act differently. You start taking control. Subscribers internalize lessons and build habits. They stop being passive and become deliberate in their decisions. Over time, this accumulates. Your presence becomes stronger, and your life becomes more aligned with your influence. Subscribing is a commitment and a step toward mastery. The people who do this consistently improve their lives. Transformation is in the action you take after consuming content. Reclaim your energy, your time, and your focus. Every subscriber who applies these principles takes ownership. They stop reacting and start acting powerfully. Take this seriously as a framework for change. Practice it and watch how the world shifts around you. The moment you stop caring what people think, you become dangerous. Your life improves in ways you never imagined.